Elk hunting is exciting. It gets in your blood and it doesn't leave. And for most of us, we would never want it to. And while there can be several factors that can be attributed to finding success as an elk hunter, I can sum up my love for elk hunting with one word, and that is calling. For me, there's nothing like the experience of calling in a screaming bull elk. Unfortunately, a lot of elk hunters don't ever get to experience this, at least not on a consistent basis. But my hope is to provide you with the skills and the confidence to use your calls effectively to bring elk in close on a consistent, regular basis. There are a lot of different tactics that can be effective for hunting elk. Spot and stalk, decoys, cow calling, passive calling, aggressive calling, or a combination of a few or all of these methods. In fact, I would say that most seasoned elk hunters recognize that there isn't any single strategy that's going to work on every bull every day. I'll admit up front though, if there's any chance that an elk call will work to get me close to an elk, I'm going to exhaust that option before trying something else. I might even try it a time or two beyond exhaustion before resorting to another tactic, and there's a reason for that. For me, that thrill of in-your-face elk bugling has no rival in the hunting woods. I've heard all the arguments about elk calls not working in heavily pressured areas, or that calls won't work if you want to call in the really big bulls. And to some degree, those arguments definitely have some merit. But I also feel that with confidence in your calls and with a good knowledge base of how to properly use your calls, calling can be really effective at several different times throughout the rut and on a wide demographic of elk, including the cows, younger bulls, and the big mature herd bulls. If you're relying solely on your calls though, as I often do, there are going to be several times when elk hunting can become incredibly frustrating. It's vital to recognize when calling just isn't working, or to recognize when it might be time to relocate, find a new area, and a bull that will be more conducive for using calls. In this course, I'm going to break down how elk calls are made, and that's going to help you select the best calls for you and your calling style. And then I'll walk you through a step-by-step tutorial of how to use diaphragm elk calls. I'll share how I use calls to find elk and the best way to move in and set up on elk to increase your chances of calling them in. And speaking of calling in elk, I'm going to provide you with everything I've learned in my 40 years of elk hunting experience about effectively calling elk, as well as some supplemental tactics that'll increase the efficiency of your calling.